Bonjour.
Good morning again, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of 4, where we read and discuss The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. Today we're going to be talking about pages 40 through 100. So a few things that we want to get to today. Number 1 would be the cheating aspect for companies that do have a purple cow. Number 2 will be the paradox, parody, or the parody of a paradox. And number 3 will be the otaku, also known as a hobby, but not quite an obsession.
Yeah.
Right. So number 1,
That's well said.
let's talk about the cheating aspects. Seth does mention that a few companies out there, namely Starbucks and Amazon, after they've created their Purple Cow product or service, we get a feeling that they might be cheating because they're creating something that nobody else has done before.
Yeah, they took a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
They took a risk that others were afraid to take. He also talks about JetBlue, low-cost structure, underused airports, no union. The staff gives them an unfair advantage. Things that most companies are scared to do.
Yeah.
They did it. Starbucks, overpriced coffee. It's good coffee.
Yeah, it's
but
good.
It's pricey.
So what we would call cheating can also be something that's just slightly different. Like for them, let's talk about let's go back to the coffee company, Starbucks. I was gonna say Costco because I read your notes there, but they were different, completely different in the way they served their coffee and the way they did business. But they also thought outside the box and brought their prices much higher than other places.
Yeah.
So for them, the cheating aspect of it was thinking outside the box and bumping up their prices.
Yeah, they almost made lattes popular.
I would say
Daily
so.
popular, right?
A pumpkin spice latte.
Oh,
That's good during Christmas, during the holidays.
We might win a lot of white girl fans.
I think Amazon's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, they definitely created their own.
Like they're obviously the biggest company in the world now.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the photo of Jeff Bezos working in his office, like
Yes,
in the mid-90s?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Tiny office.
Mm-hmm.
Is it real or is it fake?
I don't know. I think it is real.
I'm pretty sure it's real. Anyways, we'll
Didn't he start out
throw it up on the screen.
in a garage like everyone else?
Yeah, like Ty Lopez.
Well, he.
Here in my garage.
Oh, is that
Talking about Purple Cow.
Yeah.
With the Lamborghinis.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the photo. So we've got, the Amazon sign there. Looks like it's on a vinyl.
It looks like ours.
Yeah,
Except
and there's
spray painted by hand.
on.
Look at the before and after though, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Like he went from a nerd-looking guy to just a stud.
Cheating.
What money did to him.
He's buff too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Bought pecs.
He bought pecs.
He bought pecs. He's cheating.
And a large Pikachu.
All right.
But he's a genius. He created, something. He created his own economy.
So they're not afraid to step outside of the,
No.
the conventional box.
And he also created this company like space. It's not SpaceX. What's it called?
It's called
Tesla.
Blue Origins.
Oh.
Blue Origins. That's
Blue
the
Origins, yeah.
main competitor to SpaceX.
Like, what does he know about? Right? He's just taking that risk,
Yeah,
competing with SpaceX.
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of nuts that those companies are trying to compete with NASA, right? So it's an established institute, and then these guys are like, well, SpaceX and Blue Origins are taking on the likes of the government, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still an Elon Musk fan.
Yeah.
Bone.
Maybe that should be our next book. An Elon Musk book.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think only his biography. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if there's any other
Yeah.
ones. Then you have Google. I don't know about
You guys have any other example that weren't in the book that companies make it seem like they're cheating because they're doing so well for doing something different?
Well, yeah,
Costco.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think Costco. Yeah, we talked about that before. They sell things in bulk. They don't sell one items. It's all multiple items.
Mm-hmm.
They
You need more than one bag.
Right, you need a membership.
Yes,
to
that's
buy
true.
something from there. You
Yeah.
actually need a membership.
Or a family member that has a membership.
Yeah, or a family member that has a membership. They check your bags at checkout. Like, it's actually an inconvenient store. To be very honest with you, it's
Yeah.
a very inconvenient store.
Yeah.
But it works, and they have no paradox of choice. They pick one brand. This is what you're selling. Buy it if you like it.
Yeah,
And
and
people
it works.
trust it. But you know what really works is the fact that you can return something almost at any time.
Really? I didn't know that.
Like Canadian Tire.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't really, like, they return it back to the manufacturer,
Okay.
right? So if you buy a mug from there and the mug chips, I actually bought a toilet from there.
Really? I didn't
And-
know.
And while I was
Did
installing
you
the
bring it
toilet-
back used?
well, while I was installing the toilet, it broke.
Yeah.
I took it back to Costco. He didn't even open the box. He just returned it for me and gave
There
me a
you
new
go.
one.
People return meat.
Really?
All the time. Like open.
And
Sometimes
what about their
cooked.
samples? Like, have you ever seen another place where they have so many samples? You know, I like to go there when I'm hungry and just
Yeah.
window shop. That's the best
Mhm.
place to window shop, because you can eat and then just walk out.
Well, yeah, you can go
Yeah.
have lunch there. I was one of the
Yeah.
samplers before. It was one of my first jobs, and you're supposed to talk about the product. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what it takes. You talk about the product, and it's a good way to sell the product.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's like not many companies.
It's
do that.
fascinating that a lot of people just hate going there, but they still go.
And they have a super cheap cafeteria.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Brings people in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fries are good there.
I think IKEA does that also, right, with the cafeteria.
Mhm.
Right.
So that works.
IKEA is actually sort of the same concept, except it's they only have one brand. Well,
They
have
they
the-
they
their own
could do
brand.
the exact same thing where you need to pay a monthly fee to go there, and people would pay, for sure. IKEA? Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Is there still a factory direct, or is it factory direct? Or
Direct buy.
Direct buy.
I don't know. I used to be a member there when I had bought a house. Just bought all my appliances there, and
Hmm.
yeah,
That was one of its kind, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I've never used
like
it.
a membership
Not too
base.
familiar with it.
It could have been a
Wayfair.
company that's
Yeah,
not on here.
Wayfair is another good one.
But there's other companies that are sort of creating their own industry, and there's a lot of these subscription-based models now that are just taking up a lot of market share.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the product right now, MeUndies, where you just sign up for a subscription and you get socks and underwear shipped to you on a monthly basis. And I mean, I never shopped like that before. And that whole movement has brought in other products. Like now I buy my razors that way with dollarshaveclub.com.
Hmm.
And these companies are sort of like, they're cheating because they're not even competing with Gillette and Procter & Gamble
Straight to the
products.
consumer.
Because I mean, you don't even need to go to Shoppers Drug Mart or Jean Coutu to look at that, what do you call it, a razor pile.
Yeah.
Man, they're so expensive.
So MeUndies, is it like is it a MeUndies brand?
Yeah.
Do they make their own?
They make their own
boxes?
stuff, yeah.
And-
They always have the ME
So you
logo
buy
on
it
it.
straight from them, right? Like you can't buy those anywhere else.
I don't know.
Unless you're doing a garage sale and I buy your underwear. That's completely different.
It's-
Good quality?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, they're very durable socks.
Are you wearing the socks right now?
Yeah. And I just like, fuck, am I gonna rip my pants? See, they have the ME. so-
Me socks.
Yeah, sorry if it smells a bit.
Yes.
Ow! It's good stuff.
MeUndies, that's actually awesome.
Yeah.
Well, look
And
at
then-
all the different companies that have them now. Like you have the Bark Box, you have Loot Crate, you have all these different companies.
You have this mentor box. That's BS.
The what?
Mentor box?
What is
Mentor
that?
Box.
You never heard of mentor box?
No.
So it's a subscription, and you get books
Okay.
sent to you every month.
That's cool.
And then you also get access to classes and stuff like
That
that.
sounds pretty
But
cool. Why does it suck?
Yeah.
It's really expensive. It's like
Oh, is
you
it?
can just go buy those books yourself,
Right.
right? It's expensive, but you also have access to some content on.
A lot of people don't like to think anymore, right? They just send it to me.
So this is it, yeah.
Oh, that I've seen that guy before.
Where he's with Ty Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Starting his garage.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. There's Spretza box. That's pretty cool. They send you a tie, some socks.
Yeah,
Yeah, so these
and
companies
bracelet or
are just
whatever.
they're
Yeah,
creating their own market
Yeah.
space.
they're just piggybacking. Like they take the idea and they're piggybacking.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think
It's like the Uber effect.
Yeah.
And they're definitely, well, that brings us to our next topic, right? Which is the parody paradox and the not being afraid to offend people.
Yeah.
To offend or to look silly, right?
To look silly, yeah. So I'm just going to read on page 87 here a few lines. Most companies are so afraid of offending or appearing ridiculous that they steer far away from any path that might lead them to this result. How could you modify your product or service so that you'd show up on the next episode of Saturday Night Live or in a spoof of your industry's trade journal? Like, let's talk about Uber. It's, before you actually use it, it sounds like such a silly idea. Like, you're gonna open this app and get in this stranger's car, and yeah, you're just gonna take a ride with them, and then they'll drop you off, and we'll bill your credit card.
Go against what we were taught as kids.
My God, like, and how pissed were the cab industry for like a year and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember stories of cab drivers like turning to violence because they
Yeah.
were so angry with like
Yep.
a new approach, and yeah,
They lost a lot of money.
yeah,
This new technology, they lost a lot of money with it because they lost a lot of jobs too,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right? But Uber also created a lot of jobs.
yeah, they did definitely.
Every second person, honestly, every second or third new to Canada application I get, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an Uber driver.
Yeah.
And I also work at this time. I'm an Uber driver and I do this and I do that. And they're making good money. Like they're making a couple $1,000 a month extra.
Yeah.
So it didn't only create a service for the consumer, it created employment for people that just don't know what to do with their spare
Yeah.
time.
Well, same thing for local businesses like restaurants, right?
Yep.
They have Uber Eats now.
Yep.
Local restaurants have a bigger outreach. Like, I know when I lived off of Preston, you can you have to see it.
No, of course not.
You know, I would order some ramen noodles that from restaurants that wouldn't deliver.
Right.
You know, so they had a bigger outreach. Like even McDonald's got into that game, which that might be their new purple cow, being able to order McDonald's now. Like I've done it a couple times. That's the best.
It is the best.
Oh yeah.
Are any other fast food chains available on Uber Eats right now?
Yeah. There's Harvey's.
And did they jump like onto that bandwagon after McDonald's, or was McDonald's like the first one?
No. I think Harvey's was there before.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
That's interesting. What about Subway? Are they on? I think they're skipping the dishes, right? Subway?
Yeah, that might
Both.
be.
It's on Uber Eats
It
too.
might be. Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's funny how these new services sort of create these new economies around them. Like Google was one of them, right?
Yeah.
In this book, he's still talking about AOL, and it was written 10 years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's how
And-
big AOL was, I guess.
And that's how big AOL was, and that's
Like
how
Microsoft is not even on there, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure
they
you've
are
seen it.
mentioned in the later pages
Okay.
as a top 100 brand, but Google doesn't even register as a top 100 brand. So that's how effective they.
I want to. What's
Yeah.
that? There's this company called. I'll come back to me. I'll
Yeah.
look at it and I'll let you guys know. It's yeah. Never mind.
What is it about the company? Is it a tech company?
Well, it's here in Ottawa. It's the
Shopify.
Yeah, but this I think it relates more towards the otaku subject. So we'll get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep talking about the paradox parody. It just came to my mind, and we'll talk.
Here's a good example. Remember Charron? So they did something that was quite osé for when they did do that commercial. So the bears are wiping their bum, and you can see like little pieces of paper stuck to their bum.
Yeah.
They use cartoons to show that. You can't use human beings to show that. Oh, you can, but
Right.
it wouldn't go.
It's creative.
Yeah. So for them, they weren't afraid to do something so like ridiculous. And they were sort of a laughing stock when they did that, but like it worked. Right?
Old Spice.
Yeah.
Their commercials are stupid.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, ever since they did that, a lot of companies started doing the same type of commercials.
Like they make no sense. You know what else is that show?
But they stick though, because they're so outrageous,
Yeah,
and they are ridiculous. Like they make 0 sense.
that show, The Office.
Yeah.
Have you watched episodes of it?
Oh yeah.
It's the most awkward, just dry humor,
Yeah.
stupid show you can ever watch.
But it works because it's different and it
9
stands out.
seasons,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? That's a purple cow.
watched it like 3 times already.
And that's risky
Every
because it goes against everything else that you know. When you're watching a movie, you want something that's going to stimulate you. That show actually makes you dumber.
Yeah.
Right? 100%.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love that actor though.
Which one?
I'm not sure what his name is. He's also in the
The Boss?
48-year-old version.
Oh yeah. Steve Carell. Yeah. Yeah, he leaves at one point, and the show's still pretty good, but it's not the same.
It's the other guy, the funny guy, Dwight.
Dwight
Schrute.
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 Yeah.
He is hilarious.
Yeah, they all are. Like, you watch it, like, there's not one episode that I haven't laughed. Like, I'll laugh at every episode. They're all good.
It's an adaptation of a British show called The Office also.
Oh,
Which only lasted
okay.
2 seasons, I think.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's,
Hmm.
like, Americans weren't used to that type of comedy.
Right.
Mhm.
So they just brought it over and it worked. I mean,
They took a risk.
yeah, definitely.
9 seasons, and a lot of these actors got other offers. Like that lady, the
Phyllis.
Mindy.
Yeah.
She has her own show.
Oh,
the
Mindy?
Project.
Yeah.
Mindy Project. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so-
she was dating one of the writers, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the,
Who actually plays in the show. too.
yeah.
Mhm.
What's his name? The temp?
Ryan? They did it on
Yeah,
the
It's
show
on
too.
Netflix. I watched the episodes
Ryan started
yesterday.
a fire.
I was on Netflix and I was actually looking at all these shows and like which one of these are Purple Cows.
Yeah.
And
The Office is
Yeah,
one.
The
Oh,
Office
yeah.
is one of them, 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Space Jam to me was another one,
Yeah.
but I'm not a big movie fan, so like it depends.
Well, Space Jam, we talked a bit about it earlier. They were probably one of the first to use a top athlete
Right.
to draw attention
Yeah.
to their movie. And I don't think Michael Jordan is, gonna
Well,
win any Oscars.
You gotta be careful
but-
because if you think back, like when O.J. Simpson was at the top peak of his career, like he was in Naked Gun. He wasn't the main character though, wasn't the main star.
But
So I
he
guess
was-
their Purple Cow was using the star as the main actor. Like O.J. Simpson was in Naked Gun.
But he-
Remember that? No?
Didn't he want to be an actor and it was sort of like his thing? I don't know because it was a long time ago. And
Well, yeah, they've always used professional athletes, but I think like Michael Jordan as the main character, like that was new.
The
Like
top
let's
guy.
put all our money on this guy.
What
who
about hockey players?
has
No
to have-
hockey players ever.
Like
Wayne Gretzky never appeared.
Sean
in
Avery
movies.
played in The Goon.
Yeah, no, Wayne Gretzky
But
would be
it's
a
not-
horrible actor. Look at his commercials. Like, nah.
Elvis Stoiko. And
Elvis
the,
Stoiko and McCain?
and the McCain commercial.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Which brings us to our next point.
Mark Messier.
Mark Messier. Yeah.
The Lays.
Bet you can't eat just one.
No, yes, that's a great punchline.
Yeah.
Or Brodeur with Delicios. Yeah,
What does he say?
Martin Brodeur.
What does he
And,
say?
I don't know what he says.
Hmm.
But I bet you can't eat just one. Think about it. Any chip that you eat, you can't eat just one. That's
Mhm.
true, right?
Yeah,
But Lay's realized this and they just said it and it works.
Yeah.
they capitalize on that tagline.
True.
Yeah.
There's one more company I want to ask you guys about. Nike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
For
always
all
been.
this controversy
Yeah.
going around regarding, Kaepernick, that's
Yeah.
one. Two, and he was an unpopular person.
Yeah.
And then you have the Muslim religion was like under attack. They came
Yeah.
up with the hijab and stuff, the Nike hijab for athletes.
Yeah.
Right? So they went against the grain on
Mhm.
both of these subjects.
Yeah.
And it worked out for them big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
I think Nike's probably one of the best marketers
Yeah.
you can think about that.
So,
'Cause
so here's a cool story. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Congrats.
you off, but like we'd have to look that up, like when these Olympics were exactly. But they bought out the entire Olympic Village before the Olympics started. All the ads were bought out. All the billboards were Nike. Everything was Nike. They weren't even a sponsor at all during those Olympic that year, but people thought they were because they were plastered everywhere.
Really?
So they paid so much cheaper for what they did
So you
compared
just
to
want
the
the
people
land.
that bought out ads during the Olympics. So they just plastered the entire Olympic Village.
I wonder what
with their,
happens to all
their
that
ads.
land in the village after the Olympics are done.
Oh man.
They usually
There's
turn
some
into
scary
like
pictures.
condominiums.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
some were
Montreal,
just-
that's what they did.
Oh yeah.
They're like
Oh,
weird,
yeah.
weird boxes stacked on top
Yeah.
of each other.
Oh really?
that was also built during the Expo 67.
Yeah, I think it was reused as an Olympic village.
Yeah. Huh. So, otaku.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Japanese word meaning?
More than a hobby, but less than an obsession. So the example they give here, companies in the States that started their own hot sauce brand, you know, they always try to be the hotter sauce, the hottest sauce, or use like a different ingredient in there. But like in the States, a lot of people have some sort of an obsession with hot sauce.
Yeah.
So it made me think about what we're sort of obsessing about these days here in Canada, more specifically here in Ottawa, the craft beer market. And why I'm talking about that is because I'm sort of obsessed with that market myself, where I try new beer, I post it on Untappd, I talk to my friends, oh, I tried that beer before you, and here's how it tastes, and here's where I bought it. So for me, that's my version of my otaku.
How often do they come up
Why do I
with
say
new beers?
otaku like that?
How do they,
Sounds cool.
how do they, like, how often do they come up with these beers, with the new craft beers?
Oh, there's one every month. Like, look at Dominion. They just came out with a new one, and I was like super excited to try their new one last week.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Okay.
so they don't last long.
And there's hundreds of craft brewers now across all of Ontario.
Right.
Could we get a count on how many craft brewers there are in Ontario?
Mhm.
And they each have, you know, like Chris said, at least once a month
Yeah.
they'll release a new craft beer.
Shout out to our friend Eddie
250.
Quotes.
250 craft brewers.
Eddie Quotes, who
Yeah.
has an album that's out that's called Otaku, and now we know why. Or
Yeah,
a little bit
250.
of the reason why.
250 craft brewers.
So that's
Like that.
that's definitely an area where people have the otaku of, you know, the craft beer.
Yeah.
And I think that just like MeUndies and, you know, the subscription boxes, it's sort of creating this environment, and now we're starting to see a lot of distilleries pop up,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
vodka distillers and, you know, rye and whiskey.
Yeah.
So that's a new industry that's gonna take off.
Correct.
Yeah.
For sure.
What about, what's these egg rolls called?
Imperial.
No, the
Golden Palace.
Golden Palace egg rolls.
Oh yeah.
Like, are they that good?
They
I
are.
just think they've built a strong reputation.
They are.
I
They're
think
good.
they're really good, but what's
This guy knows he took the last one. at the
yeah, I
same
did.
game.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. They are cut differently than your right.
Yeah.
Open-ended.
Yeah, and they look different. They
They're
might
big.
yeah, they might be the similar taste, but they look so weird, right? And that's their purple cow.
But the ones at the Sands complex
yeah,
there, is it the same,
as a Golden Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the exact same ones?
yeah,
Okay.
and they look like they're burnt.
We were talking
on
about
the ends.
Uber Eats earlier.
Yeah.
You can buy these egg rolls off Uber Eats. So at 3 in the morning, I ordered a dozen of egg rolls. That was the best decision I've ever made.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or the worst. Depends. Depends what time of day you ask me.
Okay, cool. That's really cool, but I just never, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of egg rolls in the first place, but I feel like,
Now you have to try it because it's like a different product.
right,
Mhm.
it's just that sometimes, you know, the food is actually not that good, but people talk so highly about it, it almost creates this placebo effect,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, you're right.
right? So that's where I'm getting at. Like, is it, you know, people are so obsessed about it. Is it really that good? Like, if nobody told you about this egg roll
Mm-hmm.
and you eat it, are you going to say, wow, this is the best egg roll I've ever had in Ottawa?
You know, they have the brand to back it up for sure. Yeah.
I think that in the service industry, and I'm just going to talk about real estate here, there's people that do things way differently. Like we see these ads like, we'll buy your house for cash within 24 hours.
Right.
It doesn't really turn out to be a product that the consumer uses, but like it's so different than anything that we've
Right.
seen advertised in the past that it gets the attention of
Okay.
that consumer. So
Okay.
that would be like
Like, who cares if you're buying my house in cash? I don't care if it's cash or electronic.
yeah, doesn't make a
Right.
difference.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm giving the money,
Yeah,
I'm paying
yeah.
my mortgage anyway.
Yeah. I'll buy these egg rolls cash. So that's otaku.
Cool.
You guys have
Okay.
an
That
example?
was fun.
Well, the hot sauce was one, right?
Yeah.
And the craft beers are definitely another one.
Yeah.
It's funny how some areas do have like a cult following, like the hot sauce, but there's no cult following for like mustard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that?
Well,
What's
because there
the-
could be. I think he's hinting at that as well.
Yeah.
Like you can start a trend.
It needs that one person that sort of.
And it goes back to when we were talking about sneezers, part 1 of the series. If you find that the sneezers, yeah, you can start a trend with mustard.
Yeah.
Why not? For sure.
Maybe, yeah. Starting a trend. You know, did you know that there's fruit connoisseurs that go around the world trying out different fruits?
There's water connoisseurs now.
What?
Yeah, there's like one in Canada. Yeah, I saw that. He'll taste water. Like a sommelier. Like a water sommelier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
I didn't know about that guy, but yeah, I heard the same thing. A restaurant in California has like a sheet with like 15
There you
different
go.
waters.
There's the water sommelier.
Like,
Who's that guy? Looks like Jeff Bezos.
What a blue
Maybe
cow.
it is.
He's
What a
the
purple
founder
cow.
of
It's a blue cow.
What a purple
finewaters.com.
cow. Look at all the bottles of water behind them.
Beautiful.
You think Nestle's on there?
there's no niche small enough that you can't make something with it. Hey, water. Water sommelier. That's nuts. Cool, gentlemen. I think that's it for this week. Next week we are reading page 100 to 150 for part 3.
Perfect.
Anything else to add before we sign off?
No,
It's
it's good
definitely
conversations.
harder to talk about different subjects this time around than last time.
I think that the first time around, we had the whole concept of the purple cow to talk about, which was interesting in itself. But now we're really getting into like the information of the book, where we're getting into case studies. Still great conversation, but maybe a bit more difficult.
I just realized that the purple cow's landscape is, it goes this way, so you have to actually like look at it this way, but you read it this way.
Yeah, it's different in its own right. Just in the what's this? Oh, cool.
Well, it's an old book, yeah, so it's the bonus section.
That's it for us. We will see you next week.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Have a good morning.